Now, when Gary Johnston arrived at an auction house, it was with the intention of buying a chair for his mother. But he left with a scrapbook containing almost a century's worth of paintings and social history. Its owner was a little-known Barrow artist called Minnie Pratt, who died in 1980. As Ian Haslam reports, her work is now being exhibited.
It's a fairly ordinary-looking old book, but its contents are fairly extraordinary, as Gary Johnston discovered.
I just knew that I had to look inside it. And when I did, this old book with newspaper cuttings on the front of it had a series of remarkable watercolour paintings, not only from Cumbria, but from around the world. And I just knew that there was something special about this book. And I started to unravel this story of this remarkable lady who turned out to be Minnie Pratt from here in Barrow.
Minnie was born in the town in 1880 and would become an art teacher whose scrapbook features photos and paintings from across the globe. Here then is the book. No one knows what happened to this from when Minnie died in 1980 right up until the point that Gary bought it at that auction, but touching it now, I'm slightly nervous if I'm honest, because it is so precious. I became obsessed in a way with the story of this lady who travelled by herself at the turn of the 20th century to places like East Africa, to Sweden, to France, to Canada. And it was all quite a surprise to people in Minnie's family.
What strikes me is how close we were to not having any of these paintings at all. They could have just vanished into a scrap heap if Gary hadn't just come across it and walked past that book. Was it 2 times he walked past it?
Twice he walked past it before he picked it up, yes.
So. The whole thing is incredibly moving for us. And to have our family tree on the wall right there, yeah.
And here's a very modern touch to Minnie's decades-old work. Thanks to a green screen, her art is now also immersive.
I mean, Minnie's really special to me, particularly as a woman, I think, because a lot of the women's history that we have is, focused on women who've achieved amazing things, so have flown around the world or scaled mountains. But Minnie is a normal woman, living her best life, really. And, as a woman, and there's millions of us, that's all what we're trying to do, really. And it's great to be able to tell that story.
It's quite stunning. It's, to me, just the culmination of my journey in the footsteps of Minnie Pratt. There has been such an interest. There are people from all over the world took Minnie to their hearts, and I think she would have found that just fantastic.
The exhibition runs at the Dock Museum in Barrow until February. Ian Haslam, BBC North West Tonight.